Welcome back. Let's take a look now at some of the other stories making news around the world. When it comes to getting a job, the COVID pandemic has hurt young people more than any other age group. That's according to a report from the International Labour Organization. It's recorded a 1.5% increase in the number of young people not in employment or education around the world, and says that the war in Ukraine poses further challenges. Well, to talk more about the findings of that report, what it means and what needs to be done, we can bring in Neil O'Higgins now from the International Labour Organization. Great to have you with us, Neil. Thanks for taking the time. Everybody was affected by the pandemic in one way or another, but young people especially when it comes to the labour market, and especially in Europe as well. So what has been the impact on them and why?
Well, that's right, Helena. In general, young people tend to be more affected than older workers by slowdowns and recessions, like, for example, the global financial and economic crisis of just over a decade ago. This time, however, it's been worse. So young people in general, they're more likely to lose their jobs than older workers. They have less experience. They're more likely to be unstable forms of employment. They also comprise a disproportionate share of the new job seekers. But this time around, it was worse. Young workers were concentrated in sectors which were particularly hard hit by lockdown measures. And this was also compounded on the other side by the lockdown measures regarding educational and training institutions. So also these kind of opportunities became more complicated. All being said, that the pandemic had a particularly severe effect on young people, and particularly on that group of young people who were trying to find jobs or in jobs right at the time when the pandemic hit.
So it's been a really difficult time for them, and now we've also got young people in Ukraine continuing to have a very difficult time. So tell us about the challenges for them and for Europe.
It's difficult to know precisely the effects of the current conflict in Ukraine and what that will have on Ukrainian youth, of course, but more generally on European youth labour markets. Certainly it will have an effect. Young people are particularly subject to the effects of slowdowns in economic activity, and one of the clear effects of the conflict is to slow global and European economic growth, and that will have its effects moving forward. As things stand, we were just recovering. Youth labour markets were just pretty much recovering from the effects of the lockdown. Now we'll have to wait and see a little how this new situation with both slowdown in economic activity, but also in terms of inflation, and how that feeds into youth labour markets. It's very clear that it will have a major effect.
Ever since Roe versus Wade, the decision that guarantees the right to abortion was overturned by the US Supreme Court, users on TikTok have been offering to help. People on the platform have been offering their services and their homes to citizens in the United States who might be seeking an abortion but live in a state where it is illegal. People on the platform using code words like camping or taking a trip to another state when discussing abortions. And the reason for using these code words as opposed to specific phrases is that they're hoping their videos might not be detected and censored, either by US authorities or TikTok's algorithms. And this support isn't just taking place in the United States. There's also been a growing movement in European countries like Austria, Italy, and the United Kingdom. But some abortion rights organisations say that these kind of coded TikTok videos might actually be doing more harm than good. For example, in states like Texas and Oklahoma, people can actually be prosecuted if they are found to have aided and abetted somebody getting an abortion. Concerns then that people are not just not understanding the legal ramifications, but also that they don't understand exactly what they are offering to these people who might be scared and desperate seeking an abortion. Activists saying that people who on TikTok who offer their help without the appropriate resources or training are actually overlooking the established networks of support that already exist. Here's what Rachel Fay from The Power to Decide told Euronews.
This is a time of a lot of political and legal chaos in this space, and I just encourage anyone who wants to help to stick to the channels that are already available, because those are the ones that have been vetted and are doing this in as safe a way as possible, both for the people who are seeking the care and the people who are offering it.
So activists who are using TikTok to support people trying to seek an abortion are being encouraged to channel their support and enthusiasm into more established official channels.
The family of American actor Anne Heche says she is on life support and is not expected to survive after a car crash last week. On August 5th, Heche's car smashed into a house in Los Angeles, sparking a fire. Toxicology tests are set to determine if the drugs in her system were there before the crash or the result of her time in the hospital. 53-year-old Heche is known for her roles in Donnie Brasco and 6 Days, 7 Nights.
Fans of Eurovision could be travelling to Glasgow, Liverpool or Newcastle next year as 7 British cities battle it out to host the competition in 2023. Ukraine's Klush Orchestra won the song contest this year. However, the ongoing war has forced organisers to break with tradition and find an alternative host. To date, Runners-Up UK have presented the competition a record 8 times.
Five of New York City's most iconic dance companies have come together for a festival under the stars. Commissioned by the Lincoln Center, the goal of the shows is to remove barriers for not only those on the stage but off, with free entertainment. Each unique evening of the program has been curated by the artistic directors of the 5 companies. Dancers will also offer daily workshops for all ages.
At Lincoln Center, our job is to bring in audiences from all over New York and make sure there's no barriers between them experiencing the best art in the world. And so we do that in a lot of ways, but one of those ways is free tickets throughout our entire summer programming. And we've been lucky enough to welcome hundreds of thousands of New Yorkers here on campus to see the best work in the world.
It's all part of the Band Together Dance Festival, founded more than a century ago by French fashion designer Gabrielle Chanel. Last year's event was a resounding success, proof that New Yorkers were excited for their beloved dance companies to return to the stage. This year it goes one step further, with the dancers performing side by side.
The Rafa Nadal Tennis Centre at the Sani Resort in Chalkidiki, northern Greece, opened in 2019. It's the first and only Rafael Nadal Tennis Centre in Europe. Carlos Moya, Rafael Nadal's coach and himself a former world #1, spoke to Euronews about what it takes to help someone reach the pinnacle of their sport.
I'm very proud of being part of that team that tries to motivate him and try to make him still better than what he is. He's a human being, he's not a machine. You have to be brother sometimes, you have to be a friend. Some other times you need to be hard on him and you need to push in order to get his 100%.
Academies such as this are cropping up all across the world. So will we be seeing more Rafael Nadals in the future?
It's hard to get new Nadals. I mean, I think it's once in a lifetime. Maybe more Moyas. Yeah, it's difficult, but it's easier than have Nadals. But yeah, of course, having this kind of facilities in such a beautiful place like the Sani Resort, to have a Rafa Nadal Tennis Center here, it's amazing. I've been with the kids today and I see how the atmosphere is here. I think it's great for the kids, great for tennis, and yeah, as the more we have, the more bigger chance there is of having professional tennis players.
Recent figures show that Europe accounts for over half of all professionally ranked tennis players. As facilities such as this continue to open up, the future of tennis appears brighter than ever.
That's it, you're up to date. Plenty more news and analysis on our website, that is euronews.com. I'll see you soon.